May snow, it's a possibility, and winter weather advisories are already in effect for parts of the area.
Tonight, we share the reaction as these soldiers return home to welcome arms.
Ultimately, we're just all trying to get back here to our families back home.
Why a country music legend wants to share the joy of reading with your child.
It's a fact. Reading to preschool children is one of the most important things we can do for them.
Next at 5.
You're watching Color 10 News at 5 in high definition.
Well, a cold Thursday is not what we ordered, especially on the second day of May. Good evening, everybody. I'm David Oliver.
And I'm Ashley Katz. Well, we may even get some slushy snow out of all of this today. Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner is here to explain what is happening outside.
Well, it's very, very unusual, needless to say, and this is likely going to go down, I think, in everybody's memories as one of the most unusual starts to May due to the cold and due to the snow chances that we have ever seen here in the Ozarks. Now, outside right now, we've got cloudy skies, rain starting to set in, and that's really started to push temperatures down as we see wet bulbing due to evaporative cooling. 43 degrees right now in Springfield. Off to our west we go. Pittsburgh is at 40. 35 in Chanute. If you've been watching that Royals game, it is snowing in KC, and there's been some snow further south and west down towards areas like Chanute and Emporia as well today. Now, a quick peek at radar, and you can see that rain's starting to fill in. We've got a heavier batch of rain to the east toward Highway 63 and a heavier batch of rain to the west, and all that's sort of starting to fill in the middle. And folks, from here on out, it is going to be wet the rest of the night and through much of the day on Friday. And to go along with that wet weather will be the potential for some snow. There is a winter weather advisory in effect, and this is from 1 a.m. on Friday through 1 p.m. Friday afternoon for areas basically west of Highway 65, but particularly toward I-49, or what used to be Highway 71, for some slushy accumulations, maybe 1 to 3 inches, and there will likely be some slick spots in those areas and possibly some spotty power outages due to tree limbs feeling the weight of that late season snow. Again, we'll talk more about this and what to expect as we head to the weekend. I think the cold's going to linger. It's all coming up in your full forecast.
Jamie, thanks. We're also following some breaking news on Color 10 right now. Crews were called out to a home on West Maplewood here in Springfield. That's north of Republic Road, just west of Campbell. Here's a photo that we received from our crew on the scene. It appears to have a lot of smoke coming out of the roof out there. We know a lot of firefighters were called there. They had this under control fairly soon. No word about injuries just yet. There is a lot of traffic in the west side area, though, right now, so use caution if you're heading to that direction. A welcome home ceremony for National Guard soldiers returning from Kuwait. More than 130 soldiers arrived in Springfield today.
And our Melanie Chapman joins us now with more on this celebration. Melanie.
And what a welcome home they received. These are members of Missouri's 935th Aviation Support Battalion. They've been serving overseas for the past year, and as you can imagine, this was a reunion that was long awaited. The more than 130 soldiers were greeted by family and friends, the community as well, today at Remington's Entertainment Complex. After a formal ceremony, the men and women embraced their loved ones they haven't seen in a year. The soldiers served in support of overseas contingency operations, focusing on aviation, vehicle maintenance, medical operations, and ammunition distribution. It was a lot of critical work, but the soldiers say the most important thing about this day is this moment right there, being back with family.
You know, the training's, you know, it's a blast. We come together as a unit and a team and a family of our own, but ultimately we're just all trying to get back here to our families back home.
These men and women fueled nearly 2,000 military helicopters and completed more than 60,000 man-hours of aviation and ground maintenance. But they'll tell you, they'll be the first to tell you that their husbands, wives, their families are the ones doing the hard work back home.
Oh, yeah.
Maintaining the house, taking care of the kids, and keeping the family together.
We've covered so many of these kinds of homecomings, and they're one of our favorite things to bring you every year on the news, for certainly. Right.
It's my favorite thing to cover, and you know what? It never gets old. It's always so emotional, and we always say, welcome home. We thank you for all of your work.
We're glad they're home safe. Thanks, Melanie. Well, now we have a taking control story for you today at 5. Every month is recruiting for the United States Army, but May tends to be the busiest with high school and college graduations.
And our Justin Doherty is here tonight with the story of one Army recruit who did outweigh the rest.
Soldiers are known to be physically fit. They have to be according to Army regulations. But when one potential recruit walked into the Army Center in Springfield last year, he knew he had to drop over 120 pounds.
I was embarrassed of my weight, and So I just put 280. It seemed better.
Last July, 20-year-old Jacob Merrill was lost.
What was I going to do next? And just wasn't for sure what was going on.
To find direction, he wanted to join the Army
and get out where I was and accomplish something with my life.
Only problem, Jacob weighed 345 pounds.
At that time, off of our scale, it didn't even register as body fat percentage.
The Army requires a 17 to 20-year-old male to have at most 24% body fat.
I was like, I know I'm big, and I know what it's going to take to lose this weight. I thought I knew what it was going to take to lose that weight.
Jacob and Sergeant First Class Jonas Ware set goals, starting with what was then a not-so-casual stroll.
That was so hard to get me to do.
Then, a change in diet.
Eating healthy is probably the hardest thing to do.
And now, almost 1 year later,
9 years in recruiting, this is probably the biggest transformation I've ever seen.
Jacob weighs 205 pounds, with a qualifying 23% body fat.
I'm actually going out there and achieving something and doing something with my life.
He lost a total of 140 pounds to join the Army, reshaping the famous motto, Army Strong.
I think he's proven that he's strong in heart and mind, and the Army's only going to make that even stronger for him.
I didn't see myself going anywhere at the place I was at, and in the Army, I see myself going far and achieving a lot.
Jacob leaves for basic training May 20th to Fort Benning, Georgia. His focus is horizontal construction engineer, which means he'll be operating equipment such as bulldozers. And I asked him why he chose that job, and he said he's always had an interest in heavy machinery.
Inspirational, Justin. Thanks. A special tribute today honors those who give their lives to protect all of us. This is the annual Police Officers Memorial presented by the Police Chaplains Association of Springfield. Law enforcement gathers for a gun salute in a video showing the names of officers all around the nation who've died in the line of duty. Our police chief here in Springfield, Paul Williams, says it's an important day for the community to show its appreciation for what the officers do.
Let the officers know that the people care about them. They pray for them, they're concerned about them, and they understand that the officers are those that are putting themselves on the line and potentially could give the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duty to protect the citizens of this community we live in.
Now, while this memorial service is happening early, President Kennedy did designate May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and that happened back in 1962.
Turning to a higher power to help those who work in public service, today is also the National Day of Prayer. Springfield marked the occasion with a prayer breakfast at the University Plaza Convention Center this morning. It is the 25th year the city has celebrated the service of government employees at the local, state, and national level.
We know that these people serve us faithfully. Many times all they ever hear from us are complaints or criticisms.
Mountain Prayer Breakfast also happened this morning in Branson.
In education coverage for you now at 5 o'clock, a new set of guidelines for classrooms in Missouri.
Missouri has adopted a set of guidelines that were developed by education administrators across the nation. Now here in the state, it's called the Missouri Learning Standards. Over the next 2 years, you're going to start to see schools change the way they teach. In math, for example, students will start studying certain types of algebra in junior high. The new curriculum will also stress reading more nonfiction books. We spoke with one local administrator who says the changes are good for schools, but it means teachers will have to make a few adjustments.
One driving factor for the standards were that students were not handling the rigor of the literacy they were seeing in college and in the workforce. And so there was a drive to make these standards more common across the nation. So regardless of what state you were in, you were going to have a similar curriculum with similar rigor embedded within that curriculum.
If you'd like to learn some more about these Common Core programs and ideas, you can attend some informational sessions that are happening tonight in Springfield, Warrensburg, and Camdenton. They all start at 6:30. There are the locations you see right there on your screen.
And coming up, she's known for her singing and acting, but here is something you may not know about Dolly Parton.
You can give the gift of reading to every preschool child in your area.
Dolly foots the bill and your child will reap the benefit. It's called Imagination Library. It's coming to Greene County. See what it means for families next.
Color 10 News at 5 continues in high definition.
Well, a lot of us know all about Dolly Parton, but what you may not know about her is more about a program she launched in 1996.
Dolly Parton created her Imagination Library to benefit kids in her home county of East Tennessee. Now that program is coming to Greene County.
And our Melissa Stern is here tonight to tell you how you can register your child. Melissa?
Each child that is registered for this program receives a book in the mail once a month until age 5. The books even include tips for parents about what to discuss with their children about the book. This program is aimed at kids from birth to age 5, and studies show that if adults read to babies and continue to read to them as they grow, they'll be better prepared and more successful in kindergarten. Now that Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is coming to Greene County, the sponsors United Way of the Ozarks and the Springfield Greene County Library hope it reaches every child in the area. They're targeting certain zip codes where people don't have the financial means to have books of their own.
1 in 4 of our little ones is not prepared to enter kindergarten. We want to change that. We want to improve that.
And you can take advantage of this program and learn more about it this weekend at Arts Fest. You must register your child to participate, and there is no cost to families to enroll. Springfield Greene County Library will accept enrollments from zip codes 65802, 03, 06, and 07. On Saturday from 10 to 2, the cast and crew from Dolly's Dixie Stampede will also be at the booth to play with the kids and even host a rodeo-style event.
That will be a lot of fun. Thank you, Melissa. Well, a murder suspect that we told you about a couple of days ago is now back behind bars.
Yeah, that's ahead here at 5. And why did all these people come out to the library in Fayetteville? They want to preserve a river from what they deem a very big threat. See what that is next.
Well, some good news for people in Kansas City that are needing jobs. Ford is adding a third shift at the plant so it can accommodate building more of the Ford F-150.
That's right. Governor Jay Nixon was there for the announcement today. Ford says the F-Series saw a 24% uptick in sales in April. Now it's up 19% for the year. That means Ford will add 900 new auto jobs. It will also begin hiring 1,100 workers to prepare for a new model, the Ford Transit full-size van that's coming out next year. Governor Nixon signed the Missouri Manufacturing Jobs Act in 2010. It gave incentives to manufacturers and industrial suppliers who met strict requirements for job creation and capital investment.
It was standing room only as a crowd of hundreds packed into the Fayetteville Public Library on Wednesday night, all because of concerns regarding a hog farm near the Buffalo River. Organizers say that meeting was to educate people on the issue and the fear many have about the runoff of waste from the farm into the river. Nearly 400 people showed up to that meeting. They lined up outside the door and even sat in the floor there. Many say they want to keep the river pristine and hope to find some common ground with the company that owns the farm. But last night, it was about figuring out what the next step should be.
Just trying to help people educate themselves, learn what their options are, learn what they should do, and empower themselves with respect to protecting this wonderful natural resource, the Buffalo River.
Organizers say they are looking at legal avenues in their battle against the farm. According to the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality, the farm does not have a permit, or does have a permit, I should say, and everything it is doing is completely legal.
Also in Arkansas tonight, we've got some information for you about a murder suspect there. Police say Samuel Douglas turned himself in to North Little Rock Police this morning. He's suspected of killing a man at an Exxon station there. Police had put out the alert because Douglas could have been up here in the Springfield area.
Well, if you're like me and you maybe forgot your coat on the way to work or school, you have to be regretting it right now.
Yeah, we got a big drop in temperature out there, and now we have a chance at some slushy snow. And yes, it is May 2nd. And hold on, because Jamie's got the snow tie on. It's next.
Yes.
Here's a look at stock quotes of local interest. Color 10 News will continue in a moment. And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
All right, earlier this week we had these two options, and this has been one of the harder forecasts that I've ever dealt with in the 15 years that I've been doing this, looking at where exactly this storm would go, because the models were all over the map. They have finally consolidated on one solution. So that's the good news. The bad news is it's the solution I didn't want, and I think a lot of you didn't want, and that is they slow track to the south across Arkansas and then the Tennessee Valley, and that will keep us cold and wet all the way through this weekend, with cool conditions probably lingering into early next week as well. Now here's the setup. We've got a band of rain that's developed to the east, and we're going to have to watch this. This could eventually lead to some flooding rains possibly across eastern Missouri. And then further west we have this band of rain and snow, which is being forced by upper level energy, which is currently located right there. And it is beginning to close off. We're beginning to get that closed upper level low that will sit for a little while before it eventually takes that track across Arkansas and then the Tennessee Valley. And again, ahead of that low is where we're finding that band of rain and snow right now across eastern Kansas, and then rain extending south into Oklahoma. And this upper level low is also generating a cold pocket of air upstairs in the atmosphere, which is leading to that snow potential as we head to the next 24 hours. This is a very, very unusual setup for our part of the country for this time of the year. But let's take you hour by hour, because I think this is probably the way it's going to pan out. Overnight tonight will be wet, and it will be cold across all of the Ozarks. The front is now east of the area, so we're just going to find cold and wet conditions. Snow should develop from west to east into western Missouri and possibly northwest Arkansas. I-49 will have the best shot at seeing some maybe heavy snowfall towards sunrise on Friday. That snow will try to push east to about Highway 65, and I think that's about as far east as we're going to get snow with this. And then as we head to the afternoon into the evening, temperatures begin to warm in the atmosphere, and we sort of lose that profile conducive to snow, and we're just finding areas of drizzle or light rain. And it looks like that chance for drizzle or light rain will linger across the area on Saturday, and that's going to keep things cold and just not very nice outside for the next several days. Rainfall totals very impressive, especially to the east. Highway 63 and east, we could see maybe 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Here in Springfield, a good soaking with probably a little over an inch. And then the temperatures, that's the other big story. This is a look at forecast highs versus record lows and record low highs on Friday. Not so worried about breaking record lows tomorrow, but I do think we will likely set new record low high temperatures tomorrow. Here in Springfield, that should actually read as 43. 43 is the record low high tomorrow. It looks like a high of only about 38 degrees. I believe that's also the coldest high temperature, 43, that we've ever seen here in Springfield. So we'll probably set a new record cold daytime temperature tomorrow as well for the month of May. Very, very impressive. 47 for a high on Saturday. That would tie the record low high for that date. 57 on Sunday, 67 and mostly cloudy on Monday. Mild weather does return, and it looks like it'll hang around through much of next week.
All right, thanks, Jamie.
We'll be right back.
Count on Color 10 for more local news at 6 o'clock tonight. You've heard about the Miracle Field over on Blackman Road. Well, tonight, Nick Carboni has much more on who benefits from that very unique playing surface and more on the recent visit by the Springfield Cardinals.
And check out this caped crusader. He is a crime fighter who teaches kids about making themselves bully-proof. He's also our hometown hero. We'll have much more on that tonight at 6 o'clock. And probably by 6, Jamie, the temperatures will fall even more.
Yeah, well, it looks like by 6 o'clock here in Springfield, maybe down into the low 40s. It's already about 43 or so with the rain having developed. And it looks like temperatures dropping to about 33 for the low tonight. I would watch for snow to develop all the way east to about 65 by sunrise on Friday. They'll carry over into the morning on Friday. I think Friday will go down as the coldest day ever in the month of May for the Ozarks.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you.